good morning, everybody. It's November 13th, 2025. I'm Julie Roginsky here with Michelle Kinney. It is 8 a.m. in New York and 8 a.m. in Rome, Georgia. We'll get to why Rome, Georgia in a moment. But welcome to the Mayday Morning Show. Michelle, what were you up to this weekend?
What was I up to this weekend? Let's see. A whole lot of nothing.
Awesome.
But I did watch Uncut Gems for the first time. I watched that on Saturday. Guys, don't come for me, but I gotta say it's up there with Tar in one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Really? I have never ever seen it, and everybody
is so much.
Oh, that's so interesting because I've never seen it, but everybody talks consistently about.
Yeah, everyone's like Uncut Gems, and I'm like, no. I just found like the protagonist to be like the worst human being, and like not in a way that I could find any amount of redeeming qualities. But more importantly, I started watching Ken Burns' docuseries last night about the American Revolution, which is incredible, and I urge everyone to go start watching it on PBS. Just a million reasons why we need PBS and public broadcasting, and Ken Burns is just another one. So, yeah.
Did he drop the whole thing, or is it episode by episode?
I think it's just from what I saw, it's just the first episode. It's not like long though. It's like an hour and a half, maybe more than that, and it's up to 1775. So it's like all the lead up. Yeah.
Oh, it ends at 17. Oh, the first episode ends at 17.
Yeah. How about you, Julie?
Well, I got my hair done.
It looks amazing.
Well, I also then went to CNN yesterday, and they made it look amazing. So this is CNN hair.
And then you took that MAGA guy to task, which I enjoy.
Yeah, again with these MAGA people, like they're. It's really funny because he, of course, was like. He literally said this on TV. This guy I was on with yesterday. He's like, we can't release the Epstein files because the president doesn't want it, and no Republican should go against the speaker.
And I said it was not allowed. I'm like, not allowed.
Well, I think he was basically saying it's not allowed in their like culture to go against the speaker. And I was like, not allowed to go against the speaker if the speaker won't release reports on pedophilia. Like what? And then the best part is like, no, you just don't do it. You just don't do it. And then literally 5 minutes later, not 5 minutes later, but late last night, Donald Trump, I don't know if you saw this, said, release the file. So I'm like, oh, the talking points got to be totally released now. First, there you go. That now suddenly Trump's going to release the files. Why does Trump want to now suddenly release the files? Because apparently more than 100 Republicans were going to vote to release these files. But wait, here's the thing that nobody's picking up on.
Yeah.
And I, of course, I hate to be that person who's like, and I did a Substack on it, but I did a Substack on it.
Listen.
Literally at 1 o'clock this morning, I finished writing it because I could not go to sleep without getting these words down and out. You have to understand, it's like for my own sanity. It's not that I expect. It's not that I expect people to actually like go and read it. I'm just saying, like, sometimes
I have to get it out of me.
I have to get it out. And since I couldn't,
since
I couldn't scream into the void, since everybody was asleep, I wrote a Substack column about it. But here's the thing that this says, right? This Epstein Files Transparency Act, Michelle, and why is nobody picking up on this? Which is a legislation that the discharge petition has forced the House to consider, compels the Attorney General to make public all, and I quote, unclassified records, documents, communications, investigations material in the Department of Justice's possession. The word unclassified is going to be doing a lot of work here because the president can unilaterally classify something that he considers to be a matter of national security. He cannot classify something that is, he can't unilaterally classify any materials related to personal misconduct or to conceal violations of law or in order to prevent embarrassment. But who's going to keep him honest on that? Nobody.
Absolutely no one.
So he's just going to say anything, anything with related to people he does not want mentioned is classified.
Right.
So all of this, just so people understand, is, I wouldn't say much about nothing, but I don't know why he's been fighting it so much, because clearly if he just read the stupid wording,
well,
he'd understand.
Because I think Donald Trump is so obsessed with with winning and making sure everybody does exactly what he says. And I think he didn't want to have to get to that point, probably. That's just my opinion. You know.
Yeah, but I will also say this. Despite my little glass half empty approach here on the word unclassified, you had 1,000 people looking through these files, 1,000 people looking through these files saying that they wanted, that they basically went through any mention of Trump. But here's the part that they're really missing. This is why Trump is so dumb sometimes.
Sometimes.
I mean, but here's why, like, he's pretty shrewd. He thinks I mean, listen, this guy has gotten away with murder. So he obviously thinks he's going to get away with this.
Mhm.
He should never have indicted James Comey.
Oh, that was
Ever.
very. That was very.
Because James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, whom
Mhm.
he also fired, or she got fired.
Who grew
She
up
was
with my friend Bly.
okay. Hi, Bly. Um, who was an AUSA, an assistant U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, worked on the Epstein indictment and
Mhm.
was prosecuting the case against Epstein before he died. She then prosecuted the case against Ghislaine Maxwell and got her convicted.
Right.
She's seen the evidence. So, there's enough people who Trump is pissed off who have seen this evidence.
Yeah. Not to mention the 1,000 FBI agents in, what was it, New York or something, right? That went
We
through the.
literally had to go line by line. Now, listen, there's got to be a patriot among them. Somebody's going to be a whistleblower. I don't know who they're going to whistleblow to because you can't whistleblow to the Justice Department.
Well, they'll go. Well, I know. I
They'll,
mean,
they'll
I know
they'll have to go public.
I know who they'll go to. They'll probably go to the lovely people at WBA, the whistleblower aid, Mark Zaid and Andrew Pakai, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's already happening. Wouldn't
Uh,
be surprised.
the fact that he would fire Maureen Comey and go after her dad when she's sitting on massive amounts of information. I'm sure she didn't take it from the Justice Department. That's still there.
Right.
But she knows.
Hmm.
She knows
Hmm.
because she prosecuted Epstein. She's seen those 302s. I mean, she's seen all the stuff.
Hmm. Listen, the thing about criminals, right, is like they always say that when you commit a murder or something like that and you're leaving the scene, you make like 100 mistakes, right? It's like for as much as you try to cover your tracks or do whatever, there's always going to be a couple mistakes that are going to get caught, and I feel like that's what's happening right now. I feel like they're leaving the scene of a crime, and they think that they are, wiping up all the fingerprints and everything so that but there's always something. There's always something, and maybe this is it. Maybe this is one of the things, right?
I don't know. I mean, listen, the fact that they brought Bobert in to
Dumb
the
again.
Situation Room and try to, like, basically, I assume, threaten her or persuade her or whatever they tried to do. Rough wooing is
Right.
what it is called. And the Brits here know, hopefully, if you know your history, you know what rough wooing is. It's when the English try to take over the Scottish in ways that were not so nice, and it was rough wooing is what they called it. But that is what they that is really what they're doing.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
are trying. I mean, he's going after Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my god.
He's
Like,
going after
majorly.
Tom Massey getting remarried after his wife died.
His
Tragedy.
wife died,
I mean,
and yeah, yeah.
his people are threatening Nancy Mace and saying you just lost any chance you had of winning your gubernatorial primary in South Carolina because Trump's not going to endorse you now. And they're trying to run a primary again. Well, they're running a primary against Massey. They're threatening a primary against Marjorie Taylor Greene. And
He
yeah,
wrote this last night too,
yeah.
at 9:30 p.m. I feel ridiculous even reading this out loud. Wacky Marjorie traitor Brown. Remember, Green turns to Brown where there is rot involved. This man is president. Is working overtime to try and portray herself as a victim when in actuality, she is the cause of all her problems. The fact is, nobody cares about this traitor to our country. You know, first of all, I don't. the thing about causing your own problems, yes, to a degree, but that's not what this is about. And I wish that I had labeled some of these things that I loaded in, because Donald Trump was on the tarmac last night. And actually, I think it all kind of really applies to the things we want to talk about, like in the beginning here. So I'm just going to play one that I think might be the one that he talks about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Will you let me finish my statement? You are the worst. You're with Bloomberg, right? You are the worst. I don't know why they even have you.
So he was on the tarmac last night, and he was very cranky, and he looks awful. So let me play another one here.
But they buy their own health insurance. They can negotiate price, and it's going to be locked, so they can't go out and buy a Cadillac. They can go out and buy health insurance.
So he's going on and on about health insurance. He's yelling at reporters.
Coming down. The Democrats like to use the word affordability, but their affordability was terrible. The problem with the Democrats, they lie. They do it so well. They talk about affordability, but I'm the one that's getting the prices down. As an example, they had the highest inflation in the history of our country. They would like to talk.
Mr. President, Representative Massey says he's concerned that the Epstein probe you are calling for could be a smokescreen to block the release of more files. Is that the case?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because fake news like you're a terrible reporter, and fake news like you, they just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration. So a guy like Massey, his poll numbers are showing he's at 6% approval rating right now. And we call him Rand Paul Jr. because he never votes for the Republican Party. So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
So then he goes on to say, and I don't know where that clip is, but that, Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that her life is in danger and she's being threatened. This is not, she's being contacted by private security firms with warnings for her safety. And he's asked about it. And he says, what do you have to say about this? And he says, I don't think her life is in danger at all. In fact, I don't think anyone cares about her.
So listen, that's just another way of saying, like, if somebody says, hey, my life's in danger. And if Michelle were to call me to say, hey, my life's in danger, like, actually, Michelle, nobody cares about you. And I said that publicly. That's basically a signal to be like, nobody cares about Michelle. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Because who's going to care about her? Nobody's going to even pay attention if you do it.
Yep.
And did you? Yeah, I just on that thought, you guys, like, this is a psychopath. Think about any other president. Listen, George Bush cost a tremendous amount of lives in this world.
Yep.
Bush, aside from Donald Trump with COVID, George Bush is responsible for the deaths of more people across the world in my lifetime than anybody else until Trump came along. And Trump is going to surpass his COVID death toll very soon with the cuts to USAID. So, the guy is basically a mass murderer.
Yep.
But to be so callous about somebody saying, hey, my life's in danger. And look, it's pretty ironic because Marjorie Taylor Greene came up through QAnon and had no problem pushing conspiracy theories that put other people's lives in danger. And Dana Bash called her out on it yesterday.
Let's have it. Let's watch this.
Sit on X that President Trump is, with his comments, fueling a, quote, hotbed of threats against you. Obviously, any threats to your safety are completely unacceptable. But we have seen these kinds of attacks or criticism from the president at other people. It's not new. And with respect, I haven't heard you speak out about it until it was directed at you.
Dana, I think that's fair criticism. And I would like to say humbly, I'm sorry for taking part in the toxic politics. It's very bad for our country. And it's been something I've thought about a lot, especially since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, is that I'm only responsible for myself and my own words and actions. And I am committed, and I've been working on this a lot lately, to put down the knives in politics. I really just want to see people be kind to one another. And we need to figure out a new path forward that is focused on the American people, because as Americans, no matter what side of the aisle we're on, we have far more in common than we have differences.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to respect each other with our disagreements.
So a couple things here. First of all, I just want to show this tweet from George Conway, which I thought was interesting. And it's kind of like what we've talked about privately and on our shows, Julie, is that he said, putting aside the big questions about Marjorie Taylor Greene's motivations and sincerity, I feel compelled to say that in breaking with Trump, she's doing it in exactly the way I would tell her to do it if I were her political consultant. And to that, I just also want to show, because Adam Kinzinger really has been one of the ones out here being like, guys, don't buy this. Now, again, I think it's valuable that she's out here saying these things, especially to the base, because it is breaking through. And you'll see that if you're online and you're reading all the MAGA stuff, that they're burning their hats. They're saying this man is mentally unwell, blah, 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 blah. But he's like,
Hey, guys, Taylor Greene, she's turning into a Democrat. Come on, guys. No, she's not. This is like an act, or she's really mad because Donald Trump wasn't going to support her for Senate. I actually think that's kind of it. So it's all personal. She hasn't found Jesus or anything. Okay, so let's just temper our enthusiasm a little bit here. I mean, if she wants to crap on Trump, I'm all for that. But she's not the new second coming of, the savior.
Well, we've been saying this all along. Remember, she wanted to run statewide in Georgia. And Trump basically said no, because she was going to lose, because she was wackadoodle. And two things happened. One is she got mad at Trump and was like, I'm going to stick it to you because I've been your most loyal supporter and you won't clear the primary field for me. And from Trump's perspective, and he was right, she was polling at some absurd low number. And so she wasn't going to, if you clear the field for her, she was going to lose to a Democrat. And they wanted to keep either the governorship or the Senate seat. They want to flip one of the Senate seats. So that made sense from their perspective, but she got angry because she was so loyal to him. Having said that, she's also doing something that would appeal to a more general election base, right? She's not just doing this because she's the savior. She's doing this because she's now running in a purplish statewide. She wants to. And being QAnon Marge was not going to do it for her. Being this iteration of Marjorie Taylor Greene would do it for her. So it's part revenge and part really smart political considerations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you've noticed this too. It's even her physical appearance is now much softer. Her hair is softer. Her makeup is softer. Everything about her is softer. Yeah. And she is getting, with a lot of these threats now, I believe that her safety is in jeopardy. I think that her life is in danger. I want to say here also that her boyfriend is Brian Glenn, who is the lead anchor person who's the one who asked Zelensky about why are you wearing a suit? It's just, he's such an ass. Right Side Broadcast News. But he posted this in support of her, said, I love this woman. I love this country. God bless America. And then tagged her. And again, poor George Conway. He wrote, seriously, it must be nice to have someone you care for stick up for you when you stand up to Trump.
You know what? I had a dream about Kellyanne Conway last night.
Blah. Sorry.
Oh my God. I just realized she just showed up in my, she wasn't, I was somewhere. Oh, wait, I wasn't somewhere. I was with Bruce Springsteen.
This story is taking a turn. I need more information.
I'm just remembering I was hanging out in my dream with Bruce Springsteen, who was dropping, this is so crazy, who was dropping really old songs that nobody had ever heard before. It was he was going into the vault and releasing songs that he'd written over the course of his life that nobody knew about. For some reason, I was with him while he was doing this, helping him, which is weird. And then Kellyanne Conway walked by and we spoke to each other. And I was like, hey, Kellyanne. She's like, hey. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm at Fox now. You probably wouldn't like that, but I really like it there. And I was like, no, it's fine. It's good. I don't mind. And that was it. She kept walking. Bruce and I were hanging out.
Well, I mean,
I'll tell you why. I think I'll tell you why. Because when I was at CNN yesterday, I saw that there's a ad for this Anthony Bourdain show they're doing of stuff that he hadn't released that they're now releasing.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's cool.
I don't like that. I was like, they're exploiting a dead guy.
Oh,
They're
well.
literally building a show around somebody who's now dead. Who
I'm
not only
sure, I would hope that they got permission from his estate or
I
something.
think they own it. I think they own it because remember
Oh.
his show Parts Unknown used to run on CNN.
Right. Yeah,
So
I do remember that.
That's where I think my whole like Bruce dug deep into his archives to get, but Bruce was alive in my dream. Anyway, somebody said too many edibles. No, I don't take edibles. I wish I probably should. It would make me sleep better, but I don't. So yeah, that's a weird dream. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
I forgot even what I was saying.
We're talking about George Conway, and yes, he's
well, yeah. I mean, poor George.
That was passive aggressive, but okay.
Yeah, passive aggressive. Obviously, talking about Kellyanne, but in the shadows of all of this. So, like on the tarmac last night, he's talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Nobody cares about her. He's saying Jeffrey Epstein, this thing's a hoax. Blah blah blah. Then he goes on a tirade about how Americans are going to go buy their health insurance and negotiate their own health insurance, which we all know is horseshit, and that the Republicans and what they've been talking about for weeks now, and which we have talked about on the show, is that they are going to bring back the pre-existing condition high risk pool situation, which is very, very bad for everyone. But on the other side of that, even he was defending Tucker Carlson, and this is something that we talked about also. Tucker Carlson platformed Nick Fuentes on his show, and let's just play this clip, actually.
I don't know why they even have you. We've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide. The mayor of New York, I will say, would like to meet with us and we'll work something out. But he would like to come to Washington and meet, and we'll work something out. We want to see everything work out well for New York.
You yourself had dinner with Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago a few years ago. What role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody, Kanye. And Kanye asked if he could have dinner, and he brought Nick. I didn't know Nick at the time. And he did. He came, and along with a few other people. He brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way.
Mm-hmm, all right. I have so much to say here.
Yes.
We're just, by the way, blowing through all our blocks. We're just mixing.
I know. I noticed that. I was like, let's just throw it in.
Listen, I don't ever, and I mean ever, want to hear one more Republican accusing the Democratic Party of anti-Semitism. Notice how as soon as they brought up Nick Fuentes, he brought up Zohran Mamdani. Now, Zohran Mamdani has issues with the state of Israel that some Jews, I shouldn't say all Jews, he got a tremendous number of Jewish votes, but some Jewish people find problematic.
Mm-hmm.
However, when Trump says that he wants people to decide for themselves about Fuentes, I mean, don't forget, this is what he said. We've had some great interviews with Tucker, meaning he and Tucker have had some great interviews, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him. If he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him. People have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide. Here's what Trump wants people to decide. He wants people to decide whether this is an acceptable belief. And here I'm quoting Nick Fuentes. What is Jew synonymous with as a verb? It means to cheat, to lie, act in bad faith as though it's second nature. Where do you think that comes from?
Mm-hmm.
He also wants people, Michelle, to accept this belief that Jews, quote, again from Fuentes, are responsible for every war in the world and, quote, must be absolutely annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
He wants people to accept the belief that the United States is, and I quote again, Jew occupied. He wants people to accept that Nick Fuentes said this and decide for themselves. This is another quote from Nick Fuentes. Hitler is awesome. Hitler was right.
Yep.
Hitler was fucking really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he said that he only showed up with Nick Fuentes, only showed up with Kanye, right? Kanye has also said some really problematic things.
Really problematic things.
For instance, he said, I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going to DEF CON 3 on Jewish people. He also said, I like Hitler. I love Jewish people, but I also love Nazis. He also said we got to stop dissing the Nazis all the time. He also said the Holocaust is not what happened. And he also said Hitler has a lot of redeeming qualities. And then he went off about Jewish media. Jewish people own the black voice. Jewish Zionists are controlling everything. And Jewish media block me out. Jews control the banks. Okay. And then he also said Jewish people control the majority wickedness. I could go on. I can go on. All of it, right? So it's not like, oh, I was just hanging out with Kanye and Nick Fuentes showed up. Why were Kanye and Nick Fuentes hanging out at all?
Right. Why was the, at the time, I guess he was a former president at this point, right? Or was he president? I don't even remember.
President at the time.
Was he?
I think so. I'll look it up.
Either way, why were these people allowed through the front door at Mar-a-Lago? Now, Nick Fuentes tweeted this last night. He quote tweeted the video of Donald Trump talking about this and says, "Thank you, Mr. President." And I just want to remind people that this massaging of the Hitler talking points is not new. And there, in many, many ways, there is this split in the Republican Party with the support for Israel and then the American first, anti-Semitism, we hate Jews, the Holocaust didn't happen. And that's like the Nick Fuentes, revisionist history, hatred wing of the Groyper Republicans. And I want to remind people, too, that Candace Owens, another person out of this same wing of the Republican Party, said this. In December of 2018, in a speech at Turning Point UK event in London, Candace Owens addressed the term nationalism. She said, quote, "I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Ted Lieu believes that Black people are stupid. But if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. To me, that's not nationalism." So these are the people who have the most popular channels on YouTube or Rumble or whatever. These are the people who have the most popular podcasts in the country. They have millions and millions of people listening to them. And there is an opening here and like where the Republican Party is going to move forward. And in my opinion, I think that Trump is going to double, triple down. And to what he said on the tarmac, that Tucker, we've done some great interviews and, whatever, he said good things about me or whatever, because that's always to him the most important, who said nice things about me. And I think that he's going to double, triple down for the people who are being supportive of him in this moment. And then that is where he's going to take the Republican Party with him. The Nick Fuentes.
Oh, no question about it. I want to clarify. You're right, Michelle. He had dinner with Kanye and Fuentes in 2022 after he left.
Okay, so it was after he left. Okay.
But it was also after Kanye said some of this stuff.
Yes, because he would go on these rants on Twitter and they were like insane and he would write all this insane stuff. Yeah.
And so I want to be very clear that this is a man who has no problem dining with people like Kanye West and Nick Fuentes. And he didn't condemn. If you notice, when he said everybody has to decide for themselves, he didn't follow that up by saying, but I find this personally repugnant. Mm-hmm. Right? We're all for the First Amendment. Like you want to
like he has the right to say it. I don't agree with it. I think it's horrible, but
right. But you also, as the president, as the leader of this country, should have the wherewithal to say, I don't like it and I condemn it. And Nick Fuentes should not be accepted into polite society. And if Tucker Carlson wants to give him the platform that Tucker Carlson has, then I think that Donald Trump, think that Tucker Carlson should have called him out on this repeatedly. But as I've told you guys about Tucker, he won't do that because I've explained to you that Tucker himself has really serious problems when it comes to Jews.
Yep.
And
And those clips, by the way, if you don't want to go back and watch the whole show, they're on our Instagram, our Twitter, it's everywhere. We have these clips up of Julie briefly kind of describing this and explaining this. And again, it's like Tucker Carlson shares a worldview with Nick Fuentes in the fact that anybody who isn't white, and I mean like the whitest, does not belong. And Nick Fuentes, if you can find it in yourself to make some space for this, because it is difficult to listen to, go to Nick Fuentes' Rumble account, go to rumble.com and look up Nick Fuentes' channel and spend some time, watch his shows. It's rough, but it will give you an idea of what we are dealing with, because Donald Trump right now is a caged animal. He is a caged animal and he's being backed into a corner. And I am very afraid that with the levers of power, both with like the influencer culture and also within the United States government, he's going to start doing some really, really, really dangerous, crazy shit. That is my fear.
Look, everything's going poorly for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
He's losing everything. He ran on making the economy great. He ran on lowering prices. None of that is happening. He can go ahead and tell people it's happening. Listen, Biden spent the last 2 years of his presidency telling people that the fundamentals of the economy were good. And they were good. But people didn't feel that in their pocketbooks.
Right.
So therefore, nobody believed him.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the bottom line is everybody knows what it costs to go to the store. Everybody knows what it's going to cost to buy Christmas gifts for your kids. Everybody knows what back to school shopping was like.
Right.
It hasn't gotten better. It's gotten worse. So the economy sucks. Epstein sucks. He ran on releasing what promise has he kept? He kept all the promises in 2025. He's going after undocumented migrants, but he's doing it in such a disgusting way that even parts of his base are recoiling at it.
Mm-hmm.
People who voted for him, who are Latino, maybe had no problem voting for him because illegal, in their mind, the illegals are going to be deported, not us. They don't listen. You have a particular skin tone, they're pulling you over. They're throwing you to the ground. They're zip tying you. Remember that raid in Chicago a couple months ago? I think it was in September.
Yeah.
Where they literally had a Black Hawk helicopter and broke into people's houses with rammed people's doors down in the middle of the night, zip tied children. Not one of those arrests not one of those resulted in an arrest.
Right. And they don't care. They don't care.
They're just going after people.
Yeah.
And after a while, even people who voted for Trump because they really wanted lower prices or they really thought that undocumented migrants were taking their jobs, which they were not, are like, shit.
Well, this is where I'm like, people are like, stop calling us Nazis. Stop calling us Nazis. I'm like, okay, we'll stop acting like Nazis and we'll stop calling you that. Like, you're doing Gestapo, Nazi Germany stuff. Like, this is literally and the irony here, is because, Hitler got so many ideas from the United States and like how we were treating Black people in this country. And then, the cycle, and then we're getting ideas from them. It's quite a time to be living in and watching all of this happen. But the thing is, we can't watch this happen. We have to do something about this. And, everyday people, did you see over the weekend, there was in Charlotte, huge protests in Charlotte, North Carolina over the weekend about ICE. You're seeing parts of the country that we wouldn't normally see this kind of mass protest, mass demonstrations. People have had enough. And I think that just in general, people have had enough. They've had enough with this. They're having enough with the economy, with prices, with being lied to, and now watching Donald Trump lie so brazenly and so obviously about this Epstein stuff. And
listen, do you know who Kevin Hassett is? Kevin Hassett is Trump's director of National Economic Council, right? And the National Economic Council.
Kind of a
He's
goober.
economist in chief, right?
Yeah.
So Kevin Hassett went on CNBC today, I believe. Today. And this is what Kevin Hassett said. CNBC. I think there could be a little bit of an almost quiet time in the labor market because firms are finding that AI is making their workers so productive that they don't necessarily have to hire the new kids out of college and so on. Okay.
So bad. So bad.
Right. But all of these young guys who are like, Donald Trump's my man because he speaks the truth and he wants to put the girls in their place.
Right. Right. And I don't want, boys and girls sports because like this is not even an issue. Like every time I hear this, I'm just like, shut up. It's not stop. It's not a thing. But it's all it does is rile people up like this.
Yeah. Okay. You could sit there and complain about how transgender people are taking your place on the football field.
Right.
Or whatever the hell. It's not even.
Or was it the swimmer? I'm just like
a swimmer or whatever.
Place anyways, but good job.
You're not getting a job. They just said so. Now, it may be true that AI is performing work that soon will put all of us out of work. But this is all happening under Trump in the same way that the backwash of the COVID pandemic economically happened under Biden.
Yes.
People don't give a shit why it's happening.
They just care that it's happening.
They just care that it's happening.
And I got this breaking news on my phone 32 minutes ago. Jeff Bezos has created an AI startup called Project Prometheus that he will help manage as co-chief executive. And it's a race. That's the thing. They're all racing to try to get like the model, to make the model of the AI. There is so much nefarious. And there's actually a guy, I sent you a clip of him, this guy who's like talks about this. He was on the Daily Show recently. I would love to have him on the show to talk to us about all of this because it's out of sci-fi movies, like the kind of stuff that we're facing. It is existential, not just as Americans, but as human beings, what we're up against here. And it is inevitable. And it's, and it's happening quickly. And it's all being controlled by like 6 white guys with too much money and think that they know everything and have a chip on their shoulder about being nerds. And so we're dealing with this nerd Reich, and it's scary. It's scary. But at the end of the day, who's going to pay the price is people like you and me, working class people in Ohio and Kansas and Oklahoma and everywhere. And in New York City, for God's sakes, everywhere. And that's the thing about this that we're watching Donald Trump. And I think that this has kind of been, the curtain, has opened for people's eyes, because on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Twitter, I'm seeing MAGA see the light, and they're like, wait a second. And I think that has opened their eyes to, wait, what else is he lying about? And so we're watching. So he said, let's release the Epstein files. We all know, I guess, right at this point, that that's kind of meaningless, because of all the things you said. Is like the classified thing, unclassified, and like that still doesn't mean that Mike Johnson's going to do it. And meanwhile, did you see the video of the survivors that the survivors put out?
Do you have that? I want to play it.
I do. Hold on, where is it?
Guys, this is what they're trying to cover up.
Yeah, these
are real people.
Yeah,
and you can watch this video. They released it yesterday. It's brutal, and these are the girls, now women, whom Jeffrey Epstein trafficked.
Yep.
Calling for the release of files.
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
The thing is, so many of those women are almost exactly the same age as me, which means
Could have been you.
Mhm. And this is again the power of storytelling in this moment that we are living in. Um, we had like just talking about some of these things, it's almost too big for people to take in. But when you see a human being and you see the picture and you see their faces and you hear the cracks in their voices, it takes on a different meaning and it has a new power. And I applaud. I applaud all of those women who were brave enough to show their faces and to talk and be vulnerable, and whomever produced that video as well. You know, it's unfortunate, but that we have to do this, but there needs to be more of it. There has to be more of it. And every single person who has tied their name and their legacy to protecting Donald Trump and these predators should pay the price for the rest of their lives, in my opinion.
I don't even know why what you said just now is even remotely up for debate by anybody. I mean, I don't know why I had to go and debate this on CNN yesterday. I don't know why Lauren Boebert got dragged to the Situation Room to prevent the release of the Epstein files. I don't know why any human being would not have held him accountable and held accountable all the men to whom they were trafficked, these girls.
Yeah.
Because while Jeffrey Epstein apparently had an incredibly voracious sexual appetite, he did not do it alone.
Oh God, no.
And you know, this went on prior to 2004 when he and Trump allegedly had their break. I'm not so sure that they actually did have their break in 2004, but let's give Trump the benefit of the doubt that they truly did not speak after 2004. This was going on long before that.
Yeah.
Virginia Giuffre was poached from Mar-a-Lago in 2000. Anybody that believes Trump got angry that Ghislaine Maxwell poached her, she was a quote unquote towel girl at the spa, i.e. the person who brings the towels in, fluffs them up, takes the dirty ones. I mean, she was a 16-year-old girl, right? Like that's her job.
Yeah.
Part-time job after school. And Ghislaine Maxwell went there and saw her reading a massage book because she wanted to become a massage therapist and was like, great, do you want to come work for my friend? He wants a massage therapist. And that wasn't, but I want to look at the timeline here. That was in 2000. Trump and Epstein allegedly stopped speaking at the end of 2004. So really 2005.
And they may have had like a quarrel, you know, like they may have had like a disagreement or something.
Over a real estate deal, over the Maison de l'Amitié.
Right.
But what is relevant about this is that Trump was there for all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Because Virginia Giuffre, who was then Virginia Roberts, was not the first. And everybody who's like, all these Trump supporters, well, she said she only saw Trump being a gentleman. Okay.
Like, okay.
All right. She wasn't there for all of it.
Yeah, I'm sure that somebody who waited on Charles Manson once thought he was, you know, a perfectly lovely person. You know what I mean? Like everyone has moments that they don't let other people see. Like it doesn't mean that what you are to one person doesn't mean that you are that to everyone. And that's just how the world is. And how that's continued to be used as an excuse. Even Morning Joe Scarborough was using that just a couple weeks ago as an excuse of, well, we don't really know. We don't really know. And Virginia Giuffre said that Yeah, remember he said because Seth Moulton said on his show,
Seth Moulton. Yeah.
that he had the inappropriate behavior with young women, and Joe Scarborough said, well, we don't really know that. We don't really
know. Because as Mika said, she and Joe still continue to talk to Trump.
They're friends.
The guy that they called a fascist. Now, if I think somebody's a fascist, I'm not going to suddenly run down to their estate and hang out with them.
No. If you're hosting panel after panel after panel after panel on your show, Mika Brzezinski, with all these women talking about women's rights and all the threats to our humanity and everything else, and then you go down and talk to him because I'm a journalist.
She hosts a conference.
Please.
She hosts a women's empowerment conference every year, like Dubai or somewhere.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. It is such bullshit. I don't know really how anyone's buying that anymore. I really don't. And, this is where, again, when we were deciding about what kind of programming we wanted to do, it was so important for us to do a morning show. We wanted to do a morning show to give people an alternative, just something to turn on in the morning and watch people have a conversation, listen to people have a conversation, participate in the conversation about what's going on in our country without being gaslit into this.
Or wondering who we're secretly speaking to. We can't trash. Right. Like if Michelle and I were ever to go down to Mar-a-Lago, which would never happen because I would not set foot. I don't even set foot in the state of Florida anymore because I'm so upset.
Me neither.
But if somehow Michelle and I were to go to Mar-a-Lago to go be journalists, you could be damn sure that would be a recorded conversation and you would see every inch of it.
Yep.
Every single clip.
That's right.
There's no secret. I mean, listen, I talk to politicians in my real life. I work for them all the time. And if I find that one of them is doing something that I think is inappropriate, I will say so publicly. In fact, I have.
And listen, I mean,
we don't have to belabor it.
We don't have to go into all that, but just, Julie has done the right thing and given up quite a bit of her personal and professional life to do so, to stand up and to do the right thing against some of the most powerful people in the country. And sets an example really for the rest of us. And it's a damn shame that people like Mika and others do not know how to follow in Julie's footsteps.
It's gross. Thank you for saying
disgusting.
That. But Michelle, you actually created a video that I think before we go.
Oh, yeah.
Your show. Michelle got it. Michelle has these moments. I'm going to brag about my friend Michelle. Michelle has these moments of crazy creativity. You don't know when it's going to come upon her.
I don't either.
And you don't know when she's going to be, it's like, visited by the Holy Spirit here. But once in a while, and it's more than once in a while, it's actually pretty regularly now. Michelle disappears for an hour or 10 hours or 2 days and emerges with this content, which I'm so honored you're doing for Mayday, Michelle, and all of you get to see it before anybody else. But Michelle, you this weekend emerged with this great, especially if you're a Gen Z or an older millennial, Gen X, excuse me, or an older millennial.
Yeah. If you grew up watching Adam Sandler movies and
Saturday Night Live,
SNL
back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, you would love it. So do you want to play it?
Yes, just so people know, I made this on my phone. I did this on my phone over the weekend because I kept thinking of this clip from Wedding Singer every time I thought of JD Vance watching all of this go on and just be very quiet and not really saying anything. So I threw this together. I'm just going to show it here.
The President of the United States is going through what we Gen Zers call a legendary crash out.
This week, the president's name turned up repeatedly in just released emails from the Epstein estate.
He is manically posting on Truth Social.
President Trump has declared he is officially pulling his endorsement of Marjorie Taylor Greene. The Georgia congresswoman has been demanding the release of the Epstein files.
The pressure that is mounting based on the release of these Epstein emails.
Rumors of Donald Trump doing sexual acts with Bubba, who is Bill Clinton for some reason.
Did Jeffrey Epstein read his emails when he said you knew about the girls?
I know nothing about that.
He's called Marjorie Taylor Greene, quote, Marjorie Traitor Greene.
That all wacky Marjorie Taylor Greene does is complain, complain, complain.
Combined with Donald Trump's deteriorating state.
Well, President Trump is also upset with Congressman Thomas Massey, who also wants the Epstein files released.
I had an MRI. I have no idea what they analyzed, but whatever they analyzed it well.
Is frankly accelerating the physical and mental rot that we're seeing in Donald Trump.
The doctor said it was the best result he has ever seen as a doctor.
Losing his mind. And I'm reaping all the benefits.
Oh, that's so good.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's, you know what it is? It's, there's this like formula to these things that I've kind of, I don't know, just learned over the years from both working at LP for so long, but also from my friends at The Daily Show. And, you know, it's fun. It's fun. And I hope we can do more of it.
I love it. I think it's hilarious. Yeah. John Lovitz.
Who's like kind of MAGA, I think.
Kind of what MAGA, right?
I went to his Instagram being like, oh, I would like, you know, because I was going to tag him. And then I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't because.
I think you should tag him, but let's say maybe he'll sue for copyright. I don't know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, maybe not. But JD Vance, you know, JD Vance is praying that something happens to Trump and he cannot serve the rest of his term. I think it's going to be very hard for JD Vance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it's funny because there's another clip from this movie where, because, you know, John Lovitz plays like the other wedding singer and he's auditioning to do Julia's wedding.
Julia. Oh,
he's a sophisticated mama. And he's like, you know, it's terrible. And they're just kind of looking like, oh, that's so nice. I was like, that's like JD Vance, like, you know, singing and dancing for MAGA and like MAGA sitting there being like, oh, no. This isn't going to work. We want the other guy.
I forgot about The Wedding Singer.
Such a good movie.
It's a good movie. And you know how many people called me Julia? My real name is Julia.
Oh, Julia Gulia. Oh,
yeah.
No.
So my real name, I go by Julie, but my real name is Julia. And so when that movie came out, the number of people were like, "It's Julia Gulia." I'm like,
no,
Julia Gulia. Okay.
Such a good movie, and like, you know what? It actually, I feel like that was one of the first movies that Adam Sandler did that I saw like Adam Sandler's good heart. You know what I mean? Like it was a different kind of storytelling for him because there was Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and all those things. But this is the one I was like, oh, this is like Adam Sandler's an actor. He's like an actor.
Yeah.
To see it, you know? Thinking of Uncut Gems over the weekend. I was like, whoa.
I already heard about Uncut Gems. I like that almost.
And I'm sure other people like it. I just was like, these are the worst people. I cannot. This was rough to watch. But Sandler is MAGA. Yeah, he's a Republican. Yeah. I don't know like if MAGA, but definitely Republican.
Sandler?
Yeah, he gave money like Mitt Romney and stuff. I remember that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I know. I don't know.
Dennis Miller. It's all those guys from Saturday Night Live from the 80s. What happened there?
Yeah. Well, you know what it is?
Victoria Jackson before she I think she passed away, but she was a huge MAGA person.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, there's a lot of comedians now. This is what Mark Maron talks about. A lot is like comedy has gone the way of the MAGA because they're so mad that they can't say the R word that they, you know, contribute to the downfall of American democracy, you know, by riling up the manosphere.
They're not gonna be able to say a lot more than the R word pretty soon.
Exactly. Yeah, Vince Vaughn MAGA, correct.
Yeah.
I know someone who was at the Trump inaugural ball, long story, who said Vince Vaughn was there and like partying, and it was like, yeah, he's like all a part of that. Chris Pratt is MAGA. Yes, I'm like reading in in the chat. Yep, there's a whole bunch of them.
Interesting. Chris Pratt is MAGA, and yet he's married to a woman whose parents are not MAGA.
Correct. But it's like all they're part of that like crazy church. What is it? Like the church of whatever. There's like this crazy church.
I saw her. So she was at MSNBC. She was at NBC when I was at MSNBC last week, 2 weeks ago. Didn't I text you?
Maria Shriver or her daughter?
Catherine Schwarzenegger. I saw Catherine Schwarzenegger walking through the hall at NBC when I was there, and she's very tall. I didn't realize how tall she is.
That makes sense. Yeah, she looks tall.
Yeah, but she had this whole entourage with her. I was like, but why? What has she done?
I always
Like,
think
what's
people are.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Why is she here? Why? Like, she's the daughter of famous people, and she's married to a famous guy. But what's she done?
I know.
Oh, you got Michelle. You got to go.
Oh, I do. Yes, I got to grab an Uber over to the east side again. So let me go do that. Let me go do that. And everyone, thanks for joining us this morning. We are building this community. We're so honored that you spend your time here with us in the morning. And if you're not watching us live, we're so glad that you're here otherwise watching us later on. So please, we're here every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern. We're here live, and you can always catch us on Apple Podcasts after the fact and on YouTube. You can follow us across all social channels at the Mayday Network or at Mayday Network on Twitter. And we do hope that you will also like and subscribe. Like the button, hit the little like button down below, because that does help us tremendously in getting the word out and making sure more people see and hear our message. So, Julie, any parting words?
No, everybody, thank you for joining us. There are some people who have had health problems. I see in the chat, or whose mothers have had health problems. Our hearts are with you. Trust me.
Yeah.
more ways that you know. So thank you for joining us, especially when you have stuff going on at home. Rosie, we hope you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else who's going through tough times, we see you in the chat, and we are grateful to you that you're taking time out of your life when things are tough to join us. So thank you. Thank you about the hair.
A lot of hair comments.
7 hours of this nonsense, but
it looks great. It looks amazing.
Okay. Still trying to get my hair like Michelle's. Heidi. Michelle, it's
so nice. It's, you know what, I don't have a lot of hair. My hair is very, very thin. It's just, so I dry it because, again, my hair is curly, so it has a lot of volume. So it looks like I have more than I actually do, but that's kind of it. So anyways.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.